Argentina's new president, Javier Milei, has announced his country will not be joining the BRICS bloc of developing economies on New Year's Day as planned. In a letter to the leaders of member countries, he said that his approach to foreign affairs differs in many aspects from the previous government. President Milei is expected to seek closer ties with the West, and this move is being widely interpreted as a tilt away from China. Well, let's talk to Jorge Heine, the former Chilean government minister and ambassador to China and co-author of the book, The Active Non-Alignment Option. Good to see you. Thanks very much for coming on the programme. Is this a smack in the teeth for BRICS or Argentina shooting itself in the foot?
Well, I would say it's very much the latter. In some ways, it is not surprising. This is something that President Milei had announced as a candidate. In other ways, it is surprising because one could have expected a greater dose of pragmatism from him now that he is in office, now that he is in La Casa Rosada. Diplomacy is about opening options, not about closing them. And, you know, one could have expected from him a similar attitude than the one President Bolsonaro had in Brazil. Bolsonaro had announced that he would, as a candidate, that he would leave the BRICS, but then he didn't. And in fact, he hosted a BRICS summit in Brasilia in 2019. So this is, the way I see it, very much an ideological decision.
Argentina's change of heart on BRICS, I guess, highlights the rather precarious nature of its economic and political position as it tries to reverse decades of economic mismanagement. It's a real tightrope, isn't it?
It is. On the one hand, you know, one can understand Argentina's willingness to get closer to the United States. Argentina has a very strong debt with the IMF, $44 billion. The U.S. plays a very important role in the IMF. So to renegotiate that debt and kick it down the road, for that, Argentina needs the United States. So one can understand. On the other hand, the top two trading partners of Argentina are Brazil and China. In this decision on the BRICS, not to accept this invitation to join the group is very much a slap in the face to Brazil and to China, two key members of it. So, you know, again, if diplomacy is about opening options, this is a decision that closes options rather than opens them. Moreover, I've been a bit puzzled by the statements of the Argentine foreign minister, Mrs. Mondino, who says she wants to increase trade with countries like Australia, Canada, New Zealand. There's no complementarity between the Argentine economy and those economies, as there isn't with the United States and with Israel, as Argentina has said that those are the countries it wants to get closer with. On the other hand, the complementarity between the Argentine economy and the Chinese economy is very strong. So it's all very puzzling.
Argentina's new president, Javier Milei, has contemplated replacing the Argentine peso with the US dollar. I mean, presumably this does show some sign of him inclining towards Washington than Beijing. Yes,
it does. But, you know, most observers would agree to the proposition that any such move is still, you know, a long way ahead. This is not something that can be done from one day to the next. It's a very complex operation. Moreover, it is one from which basically there is no going back. So the consequences of that, as countries like Ecuador have found out, can be quite dire. So I wouldn't expect any decision on that in the near future.
Good to see you. Thanks very much for coming on the programme, Jorge Heine.